What's going on, lovebirds? In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about one of the things that causes most divorces and separations in today's society, and that is irreconcilable differences. Meaning that we disagree and we can't come to an agreement. One of the biggest things that I've seen to be a huge factor in this is we are setting up expectations for our partner that they cannot meet. And that's not even their fault. It's your fault. That's right. So if you are in a relationship now and you're frustrated with where it's going, or you are confused about where it's going, just remember that you're in control of this whole thing. So take it back. Take the control back. So today's video, I want to talk to you about expectations that you're basically setting yourself up and your partner up and you're setting you're setting it up for failure. Okay, let me stumble across my words here. If you have an expectation on someone and they don't meet it, then you'll be disappointed. So what do? We have no expectations for the other person? No. We respect the other person, first of all, and understand that their agenda is probably like yours, which means they're number one on their agenda, which is not a bad thing if you're in a new relationship, or if you're in, if you haven't really been in a relationship that long. It's not a bad thing to be focused on yourself. It's really good. You don't want to pour yourself into the entirely into the other person if you're not committed to them. But if you are, and you're in a respectful relationship, then there are some little things that I noticed I did in the beginning when Jeremy and I first got married that really set us up for a disaster. And that was expecting things that just weren't realistic. Now, I'm not talking about, your husband comes home and he drops his clothes in the same place every single day. So if you buy a basket and put it in that place, and then he'll put it in the basket. That's probably not going to happen. Okay, unless you talk to him about it, about the actual specific problem, and come to a solution. You're not going to fix it by being sneaky and trying this innuendo stuff. It just doesn't work like that. So please don't set your partner up for failure. And hopefully, if you're in a respectful relationship, your partner won't set you up for failure either. So an example of how this works is knowing your strengths. I know that cleaning around the house is something that I've done since I was a kid, so it comes second nature to me, and it's something that I do every single day. So it's really just something that is natural to me. It's not something that's natural to Jeremy. Not because he doesn't know how to clean, but it's just something that's not in the forefront of his mind, so he doesn't think about it. So a couple years ago, we moved into our second place, and I am a neat freak when it comes to clean the tub, because I like to tub. So I want it to be clean every single time I go in there. So I went into the shower one night after Jeremy got out, and I noticed that there was black mold in the shower, and I was flabbergasted. And I remember coming out and being pissed and being like, how do you not see that? How does that not bother you? That's disgusting. What the fuck? I was mad, and I was blaming him for the shower that we both share, and for him not noticing it, not cleaning it, whatever. And it led to this huge argument where it was just he had no answers. And the similar situation came up a few months later whenever it was time for me to get an oil change, and Jeremy was like, I need you to go pick up the oil so I can do your oil change. And I kept putting it off, not because I don't want to get it, not because it doesn't need it, but it's just not something that I think about. It's not my strength. So in situations where you're expecting something from your partner, you need to do a couple of things. One, you need to ask them exactly what you want from them. Stop thinking that if you ask them for something that they're going to be inconvenienced, or they're not going to like you now because you're asking for too much. Ask for exactly what you want in your relationship, and 9 times out of 10 you'll get it. If you're with somebody who is respectful and who wants to do that for you, then it really shouldn't be a problem. Second thing is stop setting yourself up. Stop setting your partner up, I should say, for failure. I'm not going to continue to get mad at Jeremy for household things that he doesn't notice, because that's not his strength. It's just not what he's about, Just like I wouldn't expect him to get mad at me for not changing the oil in my car, or not thinking about, when the maintenance light comes on, maybe I should tell him that, or my brakes squeaking. It's just things that aren't in my head, at the time, or at all, really. So those are the things you need to do. Stop expecting your husband or wife to read your mind, because they can't, and they won't, and they shouldn't have to. And you should be an adult and you should just speak to him about what it is that you want. And 2, don't set yourself or your partner up for failure. If you know that your husband has a problem when he comes home and he takes it, this is not my husband, but he comes home and he takes his laundry and he puts it directly beside the bed, so you're like, oh, let me buy a laundromat. Let me buy a laundry basket and put it beside the bed, and he'll just figure it out. Because he won't. Because if you had a bad habit, could you imagine your husband just subtly putting in little innuendos here and hoping that you catch on? No. You would be, humiliated. You would be pissed. You would be like flabbergasted at the fact that he actually had the audacity to do that. And yet, in the same aspect, we as women don't think twice about it. We're like, well, maybe he'll figure it out. Well, maybe we just need to open our mouths and express to each other what it is that we want from one another. And if we cannot get that from the other person, then maybe we need to have a little bit more of a respectful conversation on maybe this isn't going to work. Jeremy and I, we don't agree on everything. Absolutely not. He's Republican. I am not. I'm not Democratic. I'm just not. And he is Methodist, and I'm Pentecostal? You don't have to agree on absolutely everything. As long as you have a mutual respect for one another and you're not sitting here trying to one-up each other or outdo the other person, then I don't see how relationships are that hard. You need a couple of things. You need respect, first and foremost, because if you don't have respect in a relationship, you will not communicate effectively, because you don't communicate with those who you don't respect, and you definitely won't trust that person because you can't communicate with them because you don't respect them. You don't want to talk to somebody you don't respect, so especially if you're in a relationship. So them's my do's and don'ts for today. And if this video has helped you in any way, I pray that you will share, like, comment, or whatever, however YouTube works these days. And take this to heart, because I've been in a relationship for 14 years, 9 years almost, of that being married, and Jeremy and I are really happy. We're really strong. We're really best friends, and just, I don't know, it works so well that it inspired me to make this YouTube. So, yeah. So I hope that this has done some good for you in your life, and if it has, then share it with a friend, and if it hasn't, then keep your comments to yourself. Okay. Talk to you later.